you struggle with feeling like your content is getting boring, like you're saying the same thing over and over again, and frankly, you wonder if you're doing yourself a disservice by not keeping things fresh? I know that I actually hear this all the time from clients, but I know that a lot of people struggle with this struggle of, well, I feel like I'm just being really repetitive. I feel like my audience is bored. I feel like I'm bored. And this is something that is really, really common. So if you can relate to this, you are not the only one. I am Amanda Warfield. I am a simplicity focused content marketing strategist and copywriter. And so I want to talk about keeping your content fresh. You can be a broken record and you can talk about the same thing over and over again without repeating yourself verbatim. And this is where we can really bring our creativity in and keep it fresh for ourselves and potentially for your clients. It keeps it fresh for them or your audience. It keeps it fresh for them, but it also different ways you say things can connect with people in a different way. Like, have you ever watched a TV show or a movie and you've rewatched it and then you see something new or something hits differently that time? It's the same thing with your content. So even if someone has heard you talk about the same topic, if you just say it in a little different way, they may get it differently. Or on the flip side of that, they may not have been in a place where they were ready to get it yet, and now they are, and now it clicks. So you want to make sure that you're keeping it fresh while still talking about the same things. And the best way to do that, I actually have these questions inside of the Chasing Simple content planner. At the beginning of every single month, when you do your prep work inside of the content planner, there are a few questions that I always encourage my students, my clients to sit down with, and anyone who's bought the planner knows this. This is in the prep work for every single month. So the first is, what is currently affecting your niche? For example, maybe it is November and your audience is feeling really burnt out and they're just ready for a break. What's currently affecting them? What is going on in the sphere of your clients? As I'm recording this right now, it's summer. So anyone who is a mom right now or a parent in general, their minds are split, right? They've kind of got their mind at work, but they've also got their mind at home with their kids, and they're figuring out, even if they don't work in the online space, even if they work a typical 9 to 5, they're trying to piece together childcare for the summer and camps and conferences and all these things for their kids, right? And so that's something that's currently affecting your niche if you have parents in your niche, right? Then you want to ask, what is happening in current events and pop culture right now? The next thing, what does your audience need to hear from you this month? And so this kind of relates back to that first question, like, what do they need to hear from you? And what are they struggling with? And then the final question is, how can you serve your audience this month? So if these are the things they're struggling with, these are the things they need to hear from you, how can you serve them well? How can you take that and serve them well? And then you want to take all of your answers to this and look at it through the lens of whatever you're marketing currently. And so if business goals was again one of those things that I mentioned. I've got a whole bunch of questions about business goals that I walk people with the planner through. But you take those goals, and let's say you're in the midst of pre-launching a certain offer. So, okay, within that offer, what's your messaging around that offer? And how can you take that messaging and look at it and recreate it through the lens of those 4 questions I just asked? And so that's just 4 questions you can ask yourself to take what you've always, like, that broken record aspect of, I always talk about this, I always talk about this, I always talk about this, and give it just a quick twist to make it feel a little fresh, even though it's something that you've talked about 100 times, 200 times, and you feel bored with it. This can help your boredom, and it can also help it connect with your audience as well in a different or new way. If you ask yourself those 4 questions, take the messaging that you feel like is just a broken record and so boring, mash them together. That's going to help you keep your marketing fresh while still cementing yourself as the expert in whatever it is that you talk about and whatever it is that you're offering. If you like this video, please be sure to hit subscribe, give it a like,